Hi, this is Keiko at Wisteria Surrey Ranch, and today I'm going to show you how to make this little raccoon with magical mushrooms. Okay, so let me cover the materials you'll need to create your little raccoon. So if you haven't felted before, you'll need a felting foam and some felting needles. Felting needles are barbed, so they are a specialty item. For the core wool, you'll need probably about 0.18 to 0.21 ounces, which is 5-6 grams. The finished raccoon is 8 grams or 0.28 ounces. So it's not going to take a whole lot. So just have a little extra on hand. You'll want some medium gray, and this is going to be covering the body. I have about 3 grams or 0.11 ounces here. You'll want a little bit of darker gray for the eyes and paws and the tail. So you're not going to need a whole lot, just a little bit. A pinch of black for the eyes and nose. There you can see. And for the pad, the finished pad weight, including the mushroom, is 2 grams or 0.07 ounces. So you'll really just need a little bit of green and some red for the mushrooms and some locks, which make it really quick and easy to add to the pad for decorative purposes, but you can use yarn or roving and curl it up and play with that too. So that covers your supplies. So let's get to the step-by-step, and I'm going to do a close-up so you can see my hands better, so you know. Okay, so we're going to get started on the head of the raccoon first. So I currently have about 1 gram of the core wool, so I'm going to start with that. So it's really just a little bit. Let me just show you on my hand so you can get a rough idea. Okay, I'm actually going to move some of these needles out of your way. Okay, so I'm going to just first roll it kind of into a tight sausage. So I'm going to roll it tight. And this project isn't, even if you're a beginner, you should be able to do it, but it will take more patience and it will take more time. So just really depends. Each of the steps is not difficult at all, especially if you follow along. Get your cup of tea and just hang out. Most of this will be done in real time except for super duplicate processes. So I'm just poking it like a sausage here, like this. Okay, I'm gonna move this little one here. Okay, and then on the sides, we're going to angle it down like this so that you can get a bit of the face sort of angled down. And also you can kind of see it on my pattern guide. Ooh, sorry. There, that way. So you can kind of see it angles down just a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to poke it in a little bit of an angle. So I'll show you in a minute. Actually, can you see? Okay, so here. How's that? Okay, so now I can probably show it to you better. Okay. All right, so going at an angle. And you can always add more wool if it's not big enough. It's usually easier to add more wool, so I'm gonna make it a little smaller. Okay, so that side looks better. I'm gonna work on this side a little bit more. And poke it in. Doesn't look even right now. Okay, no problem. Okay, so right now, oops, it doesn't look very good, but I've got sort of a shape here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my size guide just to see where I'm at. Okay, so it needs to squish further towards the center, and the size is about right. So what I'm going to do here, I'm actually going to show you how I would fix it. So I might need to add, but I'm just going to push this towards the center and watch your fingers. Okay, and then kind of poking it at an angle towards the center. So as far as breaking needles and stuff, if you poke the needle in at the same angle you pull it out, so I'm just going in and out, so you won't break it. I've never broken, I very rarely ever break needles. The needle will break if you put it in and then you either move it a bit and then pull it out in a different direction. So I'm sorry if that was obvious. Okay, so I'm gonna now look at it from my angle. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep poking a little bit to shape it. Take the time you need because the head is kind of important. Okay, and then the ends are probably too pokey. So I'm gonna round out the ends a little bit so it's not too pokey. Okay. And I'm going to be covering this. I'm not going to worry too much about little dents here and there. Okay, so that is kind of the shape I'm going for, and I'm going to check it. And it looks pretty close. I'm going to go ahead with this one. Okay, so let's do the next step. So the next step is going to be building the snout right here. Okay, so I'm just going to take a tiny little bit of white. Okay, and I do have a little snout size guide here too. I'm just going to roll. Can you just see? Okay, I'm just rolling. It's really hard when it's tiny. Okay, that's looking too big, so I'm going to stop here. I'm going to go ahead and hold and squeeze where I have it real tight, and then I'm just going to pull the rest out. Okay, and then I'm gonna roll it and finish rolling. There. And then I'm gonna poke. Okay, and then I'm gonna roll it a bit and poke. And all of this will be covered, so it's gonna be okay. Poking, 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 poking. Okay, and then I'm gonna, when you poke in this way, just be extra careful and go very shallow. You don't have to go deep on this area. So just go super shallow. You can see that it's only going in a little bit, and that also prevents you from poking yourself. So just kind of poking really shallow here, just to get the tip a little cleaner. Okay, and then I'm gonna poke around a little bit more here, straight up and down. Okay. Okay, and then I'm just going to check it against my guide. It's a little bigger, but I'm going to go ahead with this. So where it's still loose, sorry, so there's the snout, and then where it's loose, I'm going to open it up a little bit so it's easier to attach to the face. I'm going to go ahead and find a center here. That's my dog snoring, if you can hear it. Got 3 dogs in here, so you'll hear somebody. Okay, so I'm just poking in at the base of the snout first. Oh, that's another dog snoring. Okay. All right, so that's that. And then I think to secure it a little bit better, so I already poked the fluff in. I'm going to actually touch a bit on the base of the slightly harder snout part. Okay. So it currently looks like this. Sorry. Okay. All right. And all right, so then from here we're going to build the nose first so we can shape it a little bit. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the white wool, the core wool, and I'm going to hold it where I can be pretty secure. And then I'm going to just wrap it like that. Okay, so that's my first layer. Okay, and then I'm going to hold it and then just poke it. Okay. And I'm going to do that again. So you can see how this is going to take a little bit of time and patience. But it really is just a little step by step, you know, making each part and piece at a time. So it's totally doable if it's something you want to do. Okay. So that's looking better. And you can always come back to add. I think I like the way the nose is looking right now because it's got a little bit of an angle, and I'll show you. Just a sec. Okay, so you can see how I built it up a little bit. Okay, now if you notice, the head back feels super flat. So I'm going to add a little bit to that right now. And all you have to do is just take a little bit of wool. I think I'm just going to roll it a little bit. And then I'm just going to go like this. And you could have added this earlier before the snout. Okay. And we will be adding some of that gray. So, but yeah, that looks a little flat to me. So you just add, it's really easy. But now you'll see extra techniques on how to fix things when they don't look exactly how you want them on the first shot. Okay, so there, that's looking nicer. Okay, so you just take the time to create a base shape. Again, don't spend too much time on this because we're going to cover this completely with gray. Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and start covering. So at this point, it doesn't look too beautiful yet. It's a little fuzzy. Okay, and you could clean this up, but I want to show you the next step. So here I'm going to again double check with my sizing guide. Okay, it's a little on the big side. So when I see that, I might not necessarily fix it right now, but as I do the next process, I'll just remember to poke it in further. Okay, so my next step is going to be covering the head. And so I'm going to go ahead and do the top part. So kind of like this, and we can make little adjustments later. So I'm gonna go like this and cover like that, and then I'll just cover the back of the head. So I'm gonna go ahead and poke. So I'm just gonna poke in the outlines first real quick, and since this can be overlayered later, if it goes too far, it's okay. So, okay, and then I probably have too much here, so I'm just gonna go like this. Okay, and then I'm going to pull this off. It's too much. Okay. Okay, so I'm just covering the head right now. Oops, careful. Okay, and since my head's a bit on the larger side, once I know how this gray's gonna look, I'm gonna be poking it in more. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and... So the back was a little low, so what I'll do, and you can do this however you want, you can pull this off or put it back here, or use less to begin with and keep adding more. Different ways to do it. Okay, so I'm poking here. All right. So normally I would spend a bit more time poking all of this in, but since I want to be able to show you the next steps, I'm going to continue on to the next thing, which is going to be fun. Okay, so now I'm going to start making the markings, and this can take a lot more time, but we're going to do it a little quicker today. All right, let me actually poke the nose down a little bit. Okay, so you can look at the marking here, or I have it also on my size pattern guide. And so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the eye part. So actually, let me see. Okay, so I'm going to do the dark part right by the nose. So I'm just going to take like a tiny little gray, darker gray. This is the dark gray. Okay. And I'm going to put some here. Like this. And on the ones I've spent time on, this is the part that's going to take the longest. Okay. Okay, so I think I'm going to, yeah, I'm going to need to do more white on top. So right now it's going to cover the white part, but I want a little more of the dark. So let me see, can you see? Yep. Okay. So I'm going to add a little bit more, and then I will add more white right here, so not to worry. Okay, so there's the dark gray, and then I'm actually just pre-felting it real quick just so it's easier to handle. Okay. And the cutest thing about these raccoons is like each one's going to look really different. So that's really fun. You can make a whole family of raccoons. Okay, so I'm adding a little bit more black or dark gray here. Okay. All right. Okay. So then it doesn't, again, look quite done, but I've got the gray here. Now I'm going to do the white. So okay, so I just rubbed it again, a little bit more. Okay, and I'm going to go right above it. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and cover right over the gray area that's already covered because I think it needed to be more white. So there. So that's your white. Okay. And let's see if I can get this one on there. So I'm just rubbing it and pre-felting it just a little bit. Okay. So it's not flying all over the place. Okay. So, oh good. Are you able to see what I'm doing? Mostly. I hope. Okay, so poking, poking, poking. Okay. I got a lot of extra white down there. That's okay. And again, you can go back and cover more gray if, you know, if I over covered the white, you can always add more gray here. Let me see what it looks like from the front. Okay. So, okay. And then the center and the right here, I want a little more gray. So this is the light gray. So I'm going to take a little bit of that light gray and let's see if I can. So I'm just kind of rubbing it in my hand so it's a little easier. Okay, so here we go. There. Okay, so that worked pretty well. Okay, so far so good. All right, so we made quite a bit of progress so far. Okay, so now we're going to want to add the ears. So the ears are going to be the same color gray, and you're going to make it into a triangle. So one way I like to do it is I just kind of roll it like this, and then I fold in the, so it's rolled like that, and then I just fold it into like a triangle like this. And you can leave the fuzz because they'll help you attach it, and then I'll poke it in place. Okay. I know it's hard to see because it's gray. Okay, so it looks something like that. And then again, I like to kind of rub it between my hands. Okay, and then I'm gonna check the size. So that looks okay because this one's got a slightly larger. And it's gonna be attached a little bit off to the side. Okay, so for this raccoon, I like adding a little bit of that white onto the outer edges. So I'm just gonna get a little bit of white, poke it in. Hopefully you can see that. I'll bring it up like that. Okay, and then we're going to make one more and attach. So I'm actually gonna pause and you just create another ear and I'll be right back. So I'm back with the ears. So now I've got two similar size. And again, you can use a size guide, or if it's similar size, that's good enough. Okay, and then we're going to attach. So to attach, I like to use the little fluffs and figure out where it's gonna go. And the first time I'm gonna tap it in gently because I may wanna move it. So I'm gonna tap it in on both sides. I'm gonna look at it. Ooh, okay, so that already needs to go up a little higher. Okay, so I'm gonna just tap it in a little higher, like that. And then I'm gonna match the other ear. So I'm gonna open up the bottom a little bit so there's fuzz. Put it like where I think I want it. And then I'm gonna tap in both ends lightly. Okay. And if I like the positioning, I'm gonna go ahead and hold the ear and poke in the front as well as the back. Actually, I did it reverse, or I told you reverse from the action. So this is poking in the front, and then I'm gonna poke it in the back. Oh my goodness, did I go off screen? I'm sorry. Okay, I think I'm here. Okay, so poking it in the front of the ear right here. Hold on, sorry. There, okay, poking it in the front of the ear, and then I'm gonna also do it on the back of the ear. I think you can see these. Yes. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now I am going to add a little nose. So we're gonna take the little bit of black. Now this is a real black. Like the other one was dark gray and it looks really similar. Okay, and then I'm going to roll it. Roll it, roll it, roll it. Okay. Once it's rolled, it looks like that. And you know, you can use your plastic noses and stuff too. I just like fiber. Okay, and then again, I'm gonna poke in both ends, both sides I mean, and then look at it. If I like where it is, then I'm gonna tap around all around. And I'm sorry if you can't see this. Basically at the base, I'm poking it in super gently. Okay, hopefully you can see this. There. And once the edges are in, I might also go ahead and just poke the whole thing in a little bit too, just to make sure. Okay, so here's the nose. So the head's coming along pretty good. Okay, so for the eyes, since it's dark gray here, but I love using fiber for the eyes and not plastic. I feel like it can get, you know, I don't know, it's just fun. Anyway, so the way I decided to do it was I decided to use the black and add little white on the eyes to make sure that you can see it as eyes right there. So the way I did that, and at first you won't be able to see it, but I'm gonna go ahead and take some more black, pinch, and this is gonna be a little bit bigger than usual. Usually I have little dot eyes, but this one's gonna be a little bigger. Okay, Partly because I like it to kind of poke out of the face a bit. So it's easier to see. Okay, let's see. So getting the eyes. Okay. Whoa, that's way too big. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go with this size. So it's not rolling too good today. All right. So then to adjust it, you can just pull some of it off. Re-roll. I'm just gonna roll more. All right. Okay. Oh, I like this one. Now let's see if that's similar. Okay, pretty close. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and poke it in here. And I'm actually going to make these eyes go up and down a little bit more. So it's not totally circular. And also I'm going to angle it just a bit. Okay. That looks kind of big. We'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and put both in and then I'll show you. It won't look anything like what you see in the finished raccoon just yet. Okay. So assuming you can see it, it looks kind of big. We'll see if it works or not. Oh boy. Okay, so first you get the eyes in, and then I'm going to take a little bit of white and I'm going to do the little white dot on top first. Okay, so all you're doing is rolling. Everything's going a little on the bigger side today. Let's see. Okay, so that looks big still. Okay, so I'm gonna poke it. I'm gonna get a little bit smaller. Actually, I'll just do that and see. Just split it in two. Okay, and then I'm gonna put it on the top. So all I'm doing is I'm gonna poke it in, and then I'll show you after I poke it in. Okay, so that's one side. Okay. And definitely, this is something you're going to want to spend extra time on. I usually spend a lot of time on the eyes. Okay, so again, looks a little strange right now, but the process is like this. Okay, so now we got the two whites in, and then we're going to take more white, and now we're going to do that bottom white line. Whites of the eye, I think. So you're just going to take a tiny little bit. Okay. And some of it's going to disappear. Hey, silly puppy. All right. So here we go. Okay. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm getting a tiny little bit of white and I'm going to underline it. Yeah. Okay, let's see how this goes. Okay, and just poking it at the very bottom of the black part that I have. Okay. So now you can see that one eye. It's looking a lot better, right? You're like, what's gonna happen to my raccoon? Okay, fun, fun. All right, so I'm gonna do the other eye. And again, feel free to spend time on this. You know, pull the fiber out and try again if you don't like it. Okay. So I'm poking it in here again. Okay, this one's too far up. Okay. And it might actually help to use a slightly finer needle here. I'm using the same one for everything right now. Ooh, it worked. Okay. Okay. So see, it totally turns out pretty darn cute after you work on it. Yay! Okay, so that's the head. I'm going to continue with the body, but I'm going to take a short break.